Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We're here with the main event. Shorty Torres. We got Jim Alers. He knocked out Brito in, what was it, 45 seconds? 45 seconds tonight. It was absolute wild. We're here at the main event. We got Artem Lobov coming out. We got Artem against Malignaggi, the anticipated main event. The reason why a lot of these people are here tonight, I guess, Jim, man, talk about the knockout. That shit was nuts. Talk about it.
Man, I just went out there. I talked to Jason Knight right before I walked out. He's like, man, just go have fun. And, that's exactly what I did. I went out there, tell him pretty much meet in the center of the cage. Let's do it. And, the rest is history, man. Just threw bombs.
Yeah. I guess, did you just feel it, like when you felt it click and you felt him go down, like did you know he was out?
Oh, yeah. As soon as he hit the ground, I didn't think he was coming back up, man, from that one.
Yeah.
I saw blood, little blood, and I went in for the finish.
100%. It was absolutely amazing. It looked great. It looked great to the fans. It looked great on camera too, man. It was absolutely amazing.
I hope that the fans enjoyed it. I hope the president enjoyed it. Wouldn't mind somewhat extra change in my pocket for that one, so we'll see.
No, 100%. Well, look, I mean, being that, you virtually took no damage in that fight. Is this something that you want to get back out as soon as you can?
Man, like I said, money talks, so we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll talk to the president. We'll talk to my coaches. But, yeah, I took 0 damage in that fight. But this is a crazy sport, man, so we'll see what happens.
So for this one, in MMA, you mix it up with boxing gloves, MMA gloves, puffy, stuff like that. But how do you train for a bare-knuckle boxing fight?
Man, that's exactly what everybody was saying, man. How do you train for something like this? Honestly, man, I just did my everyday thing, man. I did jiu-jitsu, I wrestled. I just stayed in shape for the most part, man.
I'm a triangle guy, just in case.
Yeah, man, yeah. I didn't do anything different. I'm just a fighter at heart. I went out here and just had fun.
And Jason Knight is 100% right. You got to go out there being yourself. You do this sport to have fun. Yes, you are going to be nervous. That's going to happen when you have somebody across the cage or across the ring who's trying to knock your head off. But you're doing this sport because it's fun. Yes, there might be goals, there might be money involved. But if you're not yourself, you're going to get knocked out like somebody else.
This crowd is letting Malignaggi know exactly how they feel about him.
This is an MMA-style crowd, I could tell.
And he's walking out like a boxer with his whole entourage. And again, there's nothing wrong to it. He hasn't fought in over 10 years. But this is a whole different sport. Yes, it's still technically boxing, but the defense is different. The power is different. The impact and how you fight. This is dirty boxing. And honestly, this is Artem Lobov's type of fight.
You think Malignaggi is making the mistake of, because we heard him say that this was easy. This was basically boxing without gloves. I think he thinks that he can just walk in here, walk all over Artem Lobov in bare-knuckle boxing, which, mind you, is a completely different sport. And a lot of people don't realize that. What do you think he's going to do, Jim? You think he thinks he can just walk right in here and knock Artem out?
Yeah, I think he has the wrong idea. This is, to me, more similar to MMA than boxing. In boxing, you had those big gloves, easy to block most of the shots. In MMA, we're used to the small gloves. It's just protecting your hands. It's not protecting your face. So I think Artem's going to come in there and just throw angles that he's not used to. And I'm going to say I think it's going to be a quick knockout, probably second round.
For me, I can say I'm pretty sure you had the same thing. When I first started, it was kickboxing or boxing. You use the big gloves, but then you start to transition and go, I need to do MMA. I mean, honestly, I freaked out the first time I put on MMA gloves and I was sparring. I was like, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm now timid from being the combination puncher to now, oh my God, I just don't even want to throw because there's so much less of a defense in this game. You think Paulie had to face that a little bit when he started to do more MMA boxing sparring?
Man, I agree. I think you start forgetting about the combos because you're so afraid that the person's just going to throw a big looping punch right back at you. So I'm very curious to see how he trained for this one. A lot of those combos, you can't go in there and throw a 5-piece combo and expect not to get hit. So it's interesting to see how he trained for this. We'll see.
To touch on that, how much of his skill level translates over to this?
I think it does. And again, you're never ever going to take away the skill in boxing of Paulie. The only problem is because of the type of fight this is, if it goes past the first round, Artem Lobov is going to get stronger as the fight progresses.
The clinch game is no joke. You're tie up with someone, you're putting your weight on them. They're not used to that. They're used to get it broken up, but getting clinched and having bombs thrown at you at the same time, that's something different.
Dirty boxing is what makes this sport, and will Paulie be used to it? Again, he hasn't fought in over 10 years. Yes, he's fought some of the best in the world, but now he's fighting somebody a little different in a whole different sport. Yes, it's still boxing, but the little techniques can change and make it a big different game.
You know, if you look inside the ring right now, I think it really plays out the entire story that these two have had over the last few weeks. Artem looks very stoic. He just looks very calm, very collected. Paulie is kind of dancing around the ring and showing off his shadow boxing. It seems like, I would dare say, I think Artem is more in Paulie's head than Paulie is in Artem's head. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I think Artem right now, just that stare down right now, Paulie doesn't know what to do. He looks like he's looking into the eyes of death right now.
And that's a scary thing. It's like you try to be a bully, but when the guy's not retaliating, you're not winning. There's no mind game there. You're actually mentally messing yourself up. So it might be backfiring on Paulie right now. But again, having not fought in 10 years, coming back to a whole different sport and finding a guy with a straight face like Artem Lobov to go is a horrible thing.
I don't think he's blinked once right now.
He's even mannequin out there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm pumped for this fight, guys. I'm absolutely pumped. The days leading in, it just keeps getting more exciting. And when we talked to Artem the other day, one of the things that he was talking about, one of the things that everybody's talking about is the clinch work, right? The MMA fighter has that advantage of the clinch work. He said, once I get a hold of Paulie, he said, it's game over, that's it.
Yeah, it's not, I thought it would be a way bigger ring. It's not that big of a ring. It was kind of easy to cut them off and grab. So if Artem does the right footwork, I see him grabbing him pretty quick and showing him what's up.
I agree with that. I see Artem just rushing forward and making this a dirty boxing contest. Or at least that's what I would do against Paulie. You're not used to the clinch. You haven't been in here for a while. And you got the crowd on your side. Push the pace and make this a grueling 10-minute fight compared to a boxing match. You're going to lose in a technical boxing match. So do what makes you the person you are. Artem's finally moving.
There we go.
Another thing, too, do we think Conor's in the building?
Yeah.
Do we think he's in the building? I mean, my God, he flew halfway across the world because Khabib slapped Artem and he destroyed a bus. And, that whole incident, we don't have to go into that, but my God, he's fighting essentially Conor's arch nemesis for the past 2-3 years. I have to think that he's...
I wouldn't say he's here because I think he does definitely belittle Paulie, but it's one of the things that's like, he's definitely watching and supporting.
Yeah, if he was here, I think we would know he was here.
Yeah,
guys,
there'd be a much bigger entourage than Paulie's walking out.
I think we're going to know exactly how this fight is going to go just in the first 2 minutes.
Right now, let's see.
Watch the jab from Paulie. That's going to be his biggest thing here. He has to.
I think Paulie's going to try to dance, move around. But he's moving forward. He's actually the one closing the distance right now. Oh.
And Paulie definitely looks the faster of the two.
He's definitely the faster.
Artem's throwing his shots.
He's the one who clinched up.
If Paulie rushes too fast, Artem's going to be able to play his game and clinch. He's going to get those arms very, very tired very fast.
I think Artem needs to close the distance, yeah. Start punching from there, though. They don't stop.
And again, this style is exhausting. Paulie's playing it nice and safe, but he's not throwing any jabs. Again, you are the technical boxer. Use that. Artem doesn't move his head. Throw those straight punches, but don't explode forward. Just keep him at the same distance the entire time. Make Artem come to you. Don't go to Artem.
100%. It looks like he's trying to circle Artem back into the corner, but in this ring, there are no corners. So it doesn't quite work the same way as it does in traditional boxing.
And that's the biggest thing. Again, these little, there's no gloves. So is Paulie used to it? And can Paulie actually take a shot? He hasn't taken a solid shot in years. How hard does Artem hit?
Right now, Artem looks a little gun shy for the most part. He keeps backing up and then clinching. I need him to come in there and just throw. Just throw. I think that's what's going to catch him.
You think anything short of Paulie Malignaggi destroying Artem Lobov comes out good for Paulie, as in, like, if it's a close decision and he wins with all the trash talk, it's still not good for him.
Artem caught him a little bit, caught him off center. So the thing is with Paulie, to answer your question, I don't think there's a win-win for this. Yeah, it might be a win for boxing and boxers, but beating Artem Lobov, mainly with the record he had in MMA, that's not something to really, in a sense, boast about. And it's not trying to belittle Artem, but it's the fact of you are supposed to be the better boxer, so if you beat him,
Right.
you did what you were supposed to do.
Right.
Yeah, he needs to come out there and just destroy Artem. Like you were saying, Artem is not the best representation of MMA striking, you know, but I mean, he is a tough guy for sure. He has over 30 fights, 30 MMA fights.
You know, that
But
was
he needs to come in there and do his thing for sure.
no 100%. You know, this is an interesting first round. We saw Paulie. He had his speed, his in and out. He definitely didn't look like he lost a step in terms of that. He did get clipped a couple times by Artem. Artem let him know, hey, I'm here.
Which is
You're not going to
crazy.
take advantage of me.
But the thing is, Paulie, even though he had those stutter sets, he had those fakes, he wasn't really throwing any combinations.
Right.
Even though he had the aggression on his side, Artem played the clinch. Artem landed the more significant strikes. I give this round to Artem.
Yeah, I'm going to give that round to Artem as well. Just it seemed like he was just aggressive, the bigger aggressor in that fight.
Yeah.
That round.
Agreed.
And again, Paulie's playing it safe. I think Paulie should start throwing that straight right down the center.
Artem wants to make this a wild exchange and lure him into that.
That 1-2, Artem's going to come with big hooks every
Oh.
time.
Oh, we see a little wobble. But again, Paulie's not known for having power. He's not known for having that knockout power. Artem, on the other hand, yeah, he might not be the same, but it's the fact of he throws, and he's going to stay aggressive.
Guys, what happens if Artem knocks out Paulie Malignaggi?
The world goes crazy, and he's officially the GOAT.
This crowd is going to go crazy, man. Paulie's entourage is going to go crazy.
Paulie's entourage is going to go on the side of Artem. That's it. This stuff is crazy. And again, you see how both fighters are still timid. We already know Artem is not the better striker, so Paulie has that in his advantage. But Paulie's nervous about the clinch game. And he throws a beautiful body shot, which could change the game if he starts going to the body a little more. Artem's used to these fights so far.
There we go.
And this fight's going back and forth. Again, they're both picking their shots properly.
Yeah.
Artem is catching Paulie, wobbling a little bit. Not anything significant, but catching him off center. But Paulie, again, picking those body shots.
Does the time off make that big of a difference, especially in terms of being able to withstand a punch?
Man, 10 years is a long time.
It's definitely a long time.
That is a long time. That's longer than my whole pro career right there. But, man, I've been out 8 months, but I went in there and felt like it's like riding a bicycle to me, man. You go in there and just do your thing. I don't believe in ring rust.
You know, we're not seeing as much clinch work as I honestly thought we were. Every time it gets back to the ropes, but we're not seeing that half-plumb clinch and a series of uppercuts that I thought that Artem was just going to take advantage of Paulie over that.
It's actually a very competitive fight right now. You know, these rounds could go either way.
Agreed.
Depending on how the judges look at it.
But again, Paulie did just enough to win this round. I'm going to give it 1-1. This fight's going back and forth. Paulie's now trying to pick his shots. I think the second round he got a little more comfortable, started to see what Artem was going to do, and then he started going to the body, eventually makes it to the head. He landed a great, I believe it was an overhand right.
Yeah.
But again, Paulie doesn't have that significant power. Artem literally eats that stuff for breakfast. We saw in his last fight against Jason Knight, he walked out looking like a Chucky doll. He's perfectly fine with taking everything you have and still walking forward.
Yeah, 100%. I give this round to Paulie, get the first round to Artem. It's 1-1. There's still 3 more rounds. I'm anxious to see how the cardio holds up. Now, Paulie looks in great shape, but as we all know, looking great but being in ring shape is 2 different things.
Looking great, being in ring shape, the crowd, the audience, the hype, the delay. You say there's no ring rust. I say sometimes there is ring rust, depending on who you are. 10 years is a damn long time. So you never know. And again, in a whole different fighting style, different sport, you never know. Look at Paulie's movement. Yes, he's throwing those fakes, but how much is he going to be able to still throw those fakes in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th round?
Yeah, I think Artem right now, he's playing that boxing game for the most part. And he needs to turn it into a fight. You know, I think that's different. A boxing match and a fight is totally different. This is you got to come out here and show that you're the aggressor. It's a little bit different than just boxing. Boxing's like a chess match a little bit.
Agreed. Is that whole term you got to box the brawler and brawl the boxer?
Exactly.
You see how Artem throws? He has both his hands on when he throws. He's not the technical striker, so he needs a bum rush Paulie. Push him like he's doing there. Push him against the ropes. The small little slip there is perfectly fine, but he needs to push Paulie against the ropes and push the pace. Yes, you are the sloppy fighter, but use that sloppiness to your advantage. Sometimes being the funky guy throws the technique off a little bit.
No, 100%.
They're not used to the unorthodox angles. They're used to, most boxers tend to do the same thing. So you start to realize, hey, they have different tendencies that you've seen before. But Artem is all over the place with different angles, so he needs to go in there and just throw.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're the same. How many times have you been hurt more by amateurs compared to professional fighters in the ring?
Too many times. You go in there when you're doing jiu-jitsu, those white belts, they're just doing some stuff that you've never seen before. Or amateur fighters that you're like, hey, man, this is not normal.
I don't know. Are you going to black eye jiu-jitsu because the white belt needs you by accident?
Too many times.
We see Artem land some significant strikes there, having the crowd go wild.
Yeah. I have to say, so far, I'm giving Artem this round.
Yeah, Artem's taking the center, moving. Paulie seems to be moving back now, not moving forward like he was before.
And again, those punches, they take a toll every single round that goes by. Given your fight was super fast, 45 seconds, again, congratulations. But these guys, once they start facing, it's like your first 15 minutes, in the cage. It's something much, much different compared to first round KO. Your adrenaline's different. It's fight or flight. Are you going to keep on pushing that same pace, or are you going to start moving back and start using more technique?
No, but I definitely think this is interesting. It's an interesting. This is hard for the judges because there's not a whole lot of action going on, and like you said, it's more of a chess match. It's a lot of little smaller moves.
Almost like a glorified sparring match right now.
Did we ever expect Artem Lobov to play chess? Do we think he's actually good at chess?
I was not expecting it, honestly, to go this far into the fight. But it's interesting to see. I like that Artem's almost playing a little bit safe, I feel like. He's not coming in there just swinging wildly. But I want to see that. I need to see more of that. I think that's what's going to get him the knockout.
Artem needs to be Artem.
I know, agreed. I think that's his answer. I think that's the way he's going to win this. If he gets caught in the process, here's the thing. If Paulie beats Artem, hey, half the world would be like, that's what we expected anyway. Paulie's the champion. But if Artem throws an awkward shot and knocks out Paulie, shock the world.
Beautiful body, yeah. And again, Artem's even mixing it up there, throwing to the body, not just going to the head. Paulie's moving his head well, but beautiful combination there.
Oh, he's got him hurt.
I don't think I've seen Artem this technical before.
He's switching stances.
He needs to do more of that.
That's huge. Again, it's throwing Paulie off. He's not used to this. Especially being 10 years out of the game. Look at that. Artem is a whole new person in this ring.
We got to see more of those mixing up to the body and head. Body and head. Don't just head hunt.
Did I just see Artem take a Lomachenko sidestep? He's taking those Tyson shuffle steps.
He's definitely been studying his boxing for this one.
Oh, nice shot by Artem. Nice shot again by Artem.
Everybody wanted to see right here.
Now, if Paulie does not attack or retaliate, Artem's just going to push forward and get stronger as these rounds progress.
He's going to feed off the crowd. Every time he hears the crowd chant, he's coming in harder and harder.
Is it bad that I expect Artem to throw a knee? And we see just Artem walking forward now. Paulie, stop throwing those fakes like we saw earlier. He's not jolting. He's not feinting. He's not throwing anything. He's just throwing one punch and getting moved back. Artem is now starting to be Artem and throw combinations.
Yeah,
be a little
exactly.
reckless, but
Wow.
he's throwing properly. Look at him go.
Wow.
Paulie can only be defended so much. He can defend 1 or 2 shots, but he can't defend 3, 4, 5, 6, going at different angles. He's not even Artem anymore. He's doing something different.
The GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
It's
official.
It really is. This is really getting interesting. I mean, I think really Artem turned the corner in that round. You have to give that round to Artem.
That round definitely goes to Artem in that one.
It could be 3-1. It 100% could be 3-1 unless you give that first round to Paulie. Then it's 2-2. But lucky me again, I am not a judge.
Yeah.
I get hit in the head for a
Luckily.
living, so technically I'm a dumb fighter. You know, whatever.
I'd hate to be a judge, to be honest. I know people, again, we talked about it. People give judges a lot of shit. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it.
It's hard. But, I mean, this is a close fight. Like you said, it could be 2-2. I have it 3-1 as well. But you never know. I mean, there's different angles. Maybe from our angle, we're seeing something different. So we'll see what happens. This is the last and final round, so hopefully we have a banger on this one.
I think either way you look at it, I think both these guys have to come out because however you score it, I think a lot of people 2-2 or 3-1, I think both have to understand this fifth round is really going to determine, I think, what sets the judges' cards.
But we see how these fights have gone earlier. If you drop someone, that's 2 rounds.
Yeah.
That can make it a draw. No one wants to see a draw in this fight. We either want to see a knockout or a dominant win. So Artem has to push the pace in this round.
There goes Artem switching stances again.
The goat's coming forward and he's plowing through.
The crowd is going nuts for Artem.
Whoever thought the crowd would go crazy for Artem? I mean, no offense. I think Artem is a very prideful and entertaining fighter. Is he the most technical? No. And I'm saying that from my own perspective, no. But he is beating Paulie Malignaggi to the punch right now. A great professional boxer, and he's switching stances on him like Lomachenko.
Representing well for MMA right now, representing well.
And that's really what it is. It's MMA versus boxing.
It really
bare
is.
knuckle fighting. It's showing that MMA fighters right now are dominating the game.
I think right now, and I've said it before, I really think that the MMA versus boxing aspect of this might even be bigger than the fight itself. And maybe that sounds weird to say, but I think, with Artem representing MMA, so to speak, and Paulie obviously representing the boxing world, they got a lot on their shoulders because Paulie is carrying the boxing fan base, the boxing media, and the boxers on his back, and Artem with MMA. And this really dates back to the whole Floyd Mayweather versus Conor thing. And with this, though, the difference with this is they're not going into each other's strong suit. Again, this isn't like regular boxing. It's bare-knuckle boxing. It's the perfect medium in between MMA and traditional glove boxing.
What's crazy is Artem is taking less damage in this fight than he did against Jason Knight. And Jason Knight is nowhere near the striker. He's a great striker, but nowhere near the striker of what Paulie Malignaggi is. And Artem is right now beating Paulie Malignaggi to the punch and pushing him back with every single strike he throws.
Yeah, I just think Paulie wasn't pulling the trigger. Like you said, a lot of feints, but just wasn't pulling the trigger on this fight. And I think that's what's going to cost him the fight.
That's interesting. I have to give that fifth round to Artem. I mean, arguably, I think this is a close fight. I think Artem could possibly pull out the victory here.
And the crazy thing, it could be a victory of 4-1.
It could be.
Yeah, I'm going with 4-1 as well. I think Artem definitely controlled the fight. I think the crowd kind of senses it as well right now.
Yeah, the crowd's already gone. They're like, all right, Artem won. Good. But see, with this, and I know the UFC does and some other promotions do it. If you are the main event, they extend the fight a little more. I think in these big draws, hopefully maybe in future promotions, they decide to make 7, 2-minute rounds if you are a main event or if you are for a title shot. But overall, this was a good contest, and Artem.
It's a very surprising contest.
Artem is shining in this promotion. Regardless if he wins or loses in this fight, Artem looked great.
He's found a home.
He's 100% found a home.
I tell you what, I personally, for me, the way I saw this fight going, if it was going to go to a decision, I figured Paulie was going to get the win. And if it was going to get, like a TKO, doctor stoppage, something like that, I thought it was going to be Artem getting the win. But the fact that I think Artem, in the last 2 rounds, I think it's safe to say Artem outboxed Paulie.
Yeah, like I said, Artem looked more technical than I've ever seen him right now. He was switching stances, head movement, shuffling. He was a different fighter out there.
He was Lomachenko. He was Tyson.
Yeah.
He was even Paulie Malignaggi. So that's the crazy thing is, hey man, sorry for you trolls out there, but I guess Artem is the GOAT. Yeah, and
he got gun shy.
And when you take so many shots, that's what happens. You become more timid. You're afraid if you open up or get too close, that guy's just going to keep on doing what he's doing. But the only problem is, and I tell this to people in sparring, If you don't throw, you're only playing defense. So I'm just going to walk forward and keep on pushing the pace.
Right.
But now if I'm afraid something's going to come back at me, hell, even if you throw a fake at me, it's changing my rhythm, throwing me off just that much to make me kind of hesitate to throw that strike. And Paulie just didn't do that in that last round.
Like you said, playing the defensive role, that's typically especially like a traditional boxer, a lot of them like to play the defense role, right? And I think that, but in this sport, it's just not the way to do it. It's not the way to win a bare knuckle fight.
Oh, here it goes.
Here we go.
Wow! Artem Lobov gets the unanimous decision over the former champion Paulie Malignaggi, and the crowd is going nuts.
Artem Lobov is officially, in my eyes, the GOAT.
The bare knuckle champion star right here. He is the star right now.
It's been a joke for a while. It's been a meme. You've seen it, Artem the GOAT. I think it's safe to say it's got some legitimacy to it now.
I'm not even lying, I love talking smack about Artem. I have a lot of respect for him in this fight. It's a lot of nervousness knowing you're facing not just a great striker, but a former world champion who's fought some of the best in the business. Artem is doing his thing and shining like no other.
Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in with us. You saw it here. Again, sync this up. So we did the Barnett-Bedford fight. We did the co-main event of Lieben and Dakota Cochran, and we just did the main event. And a wild main event it was with Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov. Jim Alers, Jose Shorty Torres, we thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure. Guys, tune in next time. Thanks so much.